What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to a writer community. I'm your boy Speech, and today I want to talk about why it is okay to be single and why finding love within yourself is so important before getting into a relationship. Let's get right into it. Before you can truly and wholly love somebody else, you first got to learn how to love yourself. And unfortunately, a lot of people learn this at a later age in life. You'll see a lot of 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds saying that they are learning to love themselves, and that's why they weren't able to love the people around them. So it is extremely important to learn this at a very early age, how important you are before you try to get love and give love to somebody else. And if you haven't realized already, you will realize that self-respect is going to be a recurring theme on this channel, because self-respect is so important in everyday life, in any kind of success. So whether you're trying to have financial success, romantic success, success and happiness, when you respect yourself, you're going to find that way sooner than without. I don't even see a world where you can really have a lot of any kind of success without self-respect. So that's going to be a recurring thing that I'm going to talk about very often on this channel. Being single until you have self-respect is not only okay, but absolutely 100% necessary. And just so we have an understanding of what self-respect is or means, obviously there's a textbook definition, but to me, self-respect is having value for yourself, knowing what you will and will not tolerate and sticking to that. Because a lot of people know what they will and won't tolerate. However, they allow it to happen still. They allow that line to be crossed repeatedly. So having self-respect is knowing your value, knowing what you're worth, and not allowing that boundary to be crossed, and respecting yourself enough to have boundaries in the first place. And when you don't have self-respect and you don't have boundaries, your relationships can easily turn into a situation where you're settling for something you don't actually want, or something that you're not actually happy with, and possibly abusive situations. If you don't respect yourself, you literally allow others to disrespect you. I'll give you an example. Now, obviously, for people who are being physically abused and threatened of your life, I definitely recommend talking to somebody like an authority or something, to where you can get that situation figured out, because that is very challenging to escape from. However, if you don't respect yourself, you're going to be more likely to allow it to happen repeatedly. But even if you look at like smaller scale situations, if you have little respect for yourself, if someone cheats on you or something like that, you're more likely to allow them to be forgiven and possibly cheat on you again, because you don't have that boundary set. You don't have enough respect for yourself to know that you are worth way more than that. Once you realize your self-worth and have a value set for yourself and a boundary set for yourself, you know that there's certain things that you do not tolerate under any conditions. So people who are constantly trying to manipulate you and use you and take advantage of certain things that you have or own, and it doesn't have to be a physical possession, but even your mind or your time, then you know that you possibly have to let that person go. I'll give you another example. I believe that you should have privacy, even in a relationship. Now, you should be comfortable and okay with having conversations and sharing things with one another, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with having some privacy. You shouldn't really keep secrets from each other, but privacy should be respected. So if you have a partner or a friend who does not respect your privacy, that's probably someone that you should let them know, like, hey, I'm setting a boundary because I need my privacy. I need my own time. And if you do not respect that, then I'm no longer going to be able to keep a relationship with you, whether romantic or platonic. And for those who don't know, in case I'm talking to the much younger generation, platonic is just friends. So if you are just friends and you have a friend that's always in your business and get angry with you when you're not sharing everything with them, and they don't allow you to have your own privacy, it's probably a friend you need to let go. And that's going to be beneficial in the long run. But again, you have to first respect yourself to let them know that you're not going to tolerate that. And being single isn't a weakness. In fact, it can actually be a strength. When you're single, you have the opportunity to have clarity in your life, learn independence for yourself, and have the freedom to grow, whether that be again, financially or into the person that you are meant to be. And the reason that is so important is because a lot of people get into relationships early on, even while they're younger. And there's nothing wrong with getting into a relationship while you're young if y'all both have the ability to grow and you really love that person. But if you are already single, I don't recommend looking for somebody until you first master yourself, learn yourself, grow in your own self. Learn what it is in life that you do and do not like. Create your own identity. Learn who you truly are. Because once you fully learn yourself and love yourself, you'll be able to give infinite amount of love to another person, another individual. And if they were to treat you wrong in any kind of way, you've learned to love yourself so much that you feel that their love isn't needed in order to survive. If you're in a relationship, I do recommend trying to make it a long relationship and trying to work it out. But if you learn and can see that they're not meant for you, it's much easier to go ahead and cut them out of your life if you have enough love and respect for yourself, because you know what it is that you desire and need from a relationship. You know what it is to be loved because you first loved yourself. You know what it's like to have someone respect you because you first respected yourself. Because growing up, you don't get the life that you want. Like, there is random. Everyone has a random life. So you may have parents who absolutely love you without a shadow of a doubt. You have parents who may, curse you and don't even claim you. Same thing with siblings and friends and bosses and so on and so forth. So at an early age in life, it's much harder to, navigate. So once you learn to love yourself, it doesn't matter what anyone else does, because you first have that kindness and respect for yourself. You can also learn to understand what is the most important things to you. Do you feel that other people should respect you because you first respect them as well? Do you feel that someone who lies is absolute no-go for you? Do you feel that cheating is a thing that's an absolute certain no? Once you learn yourself and master yourself and knows what makes you happy, you can better search for other partners that have these same qualities that you have for yourself and these same standards for themselves that you have for yourself. Because you shouldn't be jumping into relationships with hurt people, because then you also have to fix them. And if you yourself are also hurt, now it's just two hurt people going back and forth. And naturally, as human beings, we like to go to what's natural to us, to what we are used to. That's why there's a thing called trauma bonding. Now, I'm not going to say whether that's bad or good inherently, but I know it can be bad if you build a relationship on trauma. And the reason I feel that people have trauma bonding situations is because it's an experience that both of you guys can relate to. It's like if you watch a comedian, if he's speaking on something that is relatable to you, you're going to find it way funnier than someone who's never gone through anything the comedian is talking about. So when you're finding somebody else in life and you've been through the mud and, you've been dragged around and, people turned their back on you and, you were raised watching, your parents cheat on each other, or they were divorced, or whatever the trauma is in your life, you were abused. You are more likely to accept that from your partner because it's something you're familiar with. You're like, oh, I've been through this before. And people actually make that excuse, like, oh, I've been through this my whole life, so that's nothing. That don't even bother me. They cheat on me, I take it back. We argue, that's cool. That's just life. But it's not, or at least it shouldn't be that way. But instead, if you first heal yourself and find out what it is that you love about yourself, how it is that you would like to be treated and the way that you treat yourself, that's what's going to be recognizable to you. That's what's going to start to become familiar to you. So the moment someone disrespects your body, your mind, your soul, you're going to be like, okay, I got to cut you off because I don't even treat myself like this. I set a standard for myself. So once you set a standard for yourself, anyone that is not of that standard is automatically going to be a turnoff to you. You're going to be like, no, I don't want to associate myself with you because you're not a part of me. So you have to fix yourself, heal yourself, and become who you are meant to be. And naturally, you start to seek people who have those similarities that you can relate to, with loving themselves and being in peace and not wanting to argue and wanting to have communication and conversations and care for you, versus abuse, neglect, yelling and arguing. If that's what you do, you're going to find someone who more likely you're going to find someone who does the exact same thing. If you're not happy with yourself, you're not going to magically become happier with someone else either. So don't think that, okay, well, let me find somebody who is healed. Because yes, that can work out, but now you're going to be causing them more stress. You're going to cause them more anxiety, and it could backfire on you, and then y'all both be anxious, and you just, could have assisted in ruining that person's life. Because if they had enough respect for themselves, they could have let you go. But now you're going to have to deal with heartbreak and stuff. So it's best to fix yourself first, because a lot of people who are hurt and broken look for someone else to fix them. And when they don't fix them, they automatically become upset with that individual because they had expectations going into the relationship. But if you respect yourself first, when you go into the relationship, you're not expecting anything but the best of what you and how you treat yourself. And if they don't give you that, instead of falling for that person, you'll cut them off so early in life that you won't even be saddened by that. Now, if you feel that they're very physically attractive, you might be like, man, that's unfortunate because they were very beautiful or very handsome. But you're not going to get to the point where you fell in love with them because you have too much respect for yourself to let it go on and get to that point. I want to also mention that a lot of people would hold on to a bad situation out of fear or insecurity, or both. So once you are more secure with yourself, you're less tied to these insecurities and fears. Because let's say you meet somebody who, is showing love to you, showing trust, and do, everything perfectly. You're like, you want that and crave that. So then all of a sudden they cheat on you. Now, because you have a low self-esteem, you're in fear of them leaving you because you feel like if they leave you, where else are you going to find this love that they once gave you? It's kind of like how people say that the reason they continuously get high is because they're chasing that first high. So even though they don't get high anymore, at least not to the same degree, they're still smoking in hopes of getting that first high again. Same thing with getting into a relationship. If you never loved yourself first and had trust with yourself and made yourself feel safe and comfortable, the moment you receive that from another person, you're going to constantly be dealing with their bull crap in hopes of feeling that love again that they first gave you, feeling that commitment, that honesty and loyalty that they first gave you. So the moment they cheat on you, you're afraid of losing that. You're anxious about losing that. So you stay with them hoping that they're going to change and go back to their original self. But if you first love yourself, the moment you see that in their character, you're willing to drop them because you don't need them to feel that love and safety, because you first felt that love and safety from your own self-love and self-respect. And remember, abuse isn't always physical. Abuse can be manipulation, neglect, gaslighting, and controlling people. These are all examples of different levels of abuse. And if you don't have enough self-respect, you allow that abuse to continue on. And without self-respect, people stay in these harmful relationships way too long until it gets to the point where they're like, I just give up. And at that point, it could be too late for some people. My mom, for example, was in a relationship, an abusive relationship with my father for 10 years before she mustered up the strength to go ahead and leave. And of course, she had children and stuff like that, so it made it even harder, which is why you want to leave before it gets to that point. And if it gets to that point when it starts happening, it's a very unfortunate situation. And that's why it's so important to have enough self-respect and willpower to be able to leave that so you can protect yourself and your children. Because not everyone is able to leave situations safely. Some people get locked up or end up doing something they don't want to do in order to leave these situations. So that's why it's very important to have enough self-respect to leave as early as possible to prevent it as much as possible. And with self-respect, your decision to leave comes so much faster because you have too much respect for yourself to even put up with something or put up with someone else's nonsense. You start to value peace over chaos. And there's a lot of things that you can do to build self-love and strength. You can do things like regular day-to-day self-care. You could work on your goals, your dreams and aspirations. Find ways to build up your confidence and be more forthcoming with things and feel better about your overall self, including, like going to the gym, working on your body, eating a healthier diet, and finding certain hobbies that make you happy. And that might sound like it wouldn't really help that much. But when you do things that you already love, you're not looking for things in other people. A lot of us, we, go to work and we go home, we're bored, we're trying to go out, friends aren't always available. So it's like by having a relationship with somebody, you start to be like, okay, well, when I'm with them, at least I can come home to somebody. At least I got something to do with somebody. They're going to be more available than friends who may be in relationships or have families and things like that. But if you have hobbies, whenever you are off and you have free time, instead of being bored or wishing you were booed up with somebody, you can go do something that you love, like go to the shooting range, go ice skating or rollerblading, ride a skateboard, play the guitar. But having some type of hobby that you absolutely love and enjoy, it can take your mind away from life. It can take your mind away from stress instead of feeling as though you have to rely on somebody else. When you have self-love like that, it starts to rewire your decision making. You stop chasing people and you start to attract things and people that already aligns with your own goals. So another example, let's say you love snowboarding or, surfing or something. If you end up finding the love of your life and they enjoy these same things, then now this is something y'all can do together. It's not like y'all discovered this hobby together. This is your hobby and your love. And you don't have to find somebody who also enjoys your own hobbies, but they have to respect that this is your hobby and this is something that you love to do. So if you like to go snowboarding, once a month, once every 3 months, and you start dating somebody and you realize they have a problem with that, then that's a tall tale sign right there that they're probably a little bit controlling, or they're going to try to take you away from that. So talk to them about it, ask if that's okay and how they feel about it. And if they say they're not okay with it, then you're not okay with them, because this is something that makes you happy. And you don't want to be with anybody who's going to take you away from anything that makes you happy, unless it is a negative thing. Because some people say like, oh, drinking makes them happy. Well, if you get in a relationship with somebody and they're trying to help you stop drinking, they're actually trying to help you. So as long as your hobby or a thing that you like to do is a healthy hobby, something that's not going to, destroy your life, like alcohol and drugs and, partying with random strangers and stuff like that, then for the most part, your hobbies are going to be safe and okay, and it's going to make you happy and it's going to be fulfilling, So, be mindful of that, because some people are genuinely trying to help you, but they have to help you in a way of showing love. So, but again, if you have a healthier mindset and you're really showing love to yourself and not just partying and drinking and getting high, which is going to distract the mind, you're more likely to have healthier habits anyway. So when you find somebody, they're not going to try to steer you away from happy, healthy habits. The moment you stop tolerating less than what you deserve, and again, that's everything, overeating, smoking cigarettes, doing drugs, you stop indulging in activities that destroy you, things that is way less than what you actually deserve, you'll only accept the love that respects you back. So just remember, it is okay to be single until you love yourself enough to demand respect in a relationship. And that's in any kind of relationship, romantic or as a friend, or even as family within family. Don't rush into love. Build yourself up first. The right person will realize and respect that strength, just like in my personal relationship. I have my own set boundaries and things that I do and do not tolerate because I've been screwed over before, and I'm a strong man of God, so that was my foundation. And because of that, I found a woman who loves and respects that, and whose goals in life and love in life align perfectly with my own. All right, y'all, so that's all I really have for today. I just wanted to kind of keep it short. I think it's as long as a regular video, but if you stayed all the way until the end, that means you're already part of the Brighter community. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.